Am I the jerk for telling my wife's friend she's too old and ugly after she repeatedly asked my 19-year-old son to take off his shirt? He was getting uncomfortable. My family had a small get together at my house. One of my wife's friends was over. She's unmarried, I think around 45 to 47 years old. We aren't too close to her since she lives pretty far away. She was over our house and she started complimenting my son. My son is 19 years old. It starts off innocent, but as time goes on, it gets more and more crossing the line. When we were out on my deck, she starts telling my son to take his shirt off. "What's the point of going to the gym if no one will see it?" she said. My son was visibly uncomfortable and tried to shut her down. She repeatedly asked and was getting more aggressive with it. I interjected and I'm like, "Hey, Kathy, I think you're a bit too old and ugly for my son." This got her really upset quickly, and she excused herself to the bathroom where she started crying. My wife went to comfort her, and then later she left. At the end of it, my wife was super angry with me for saying that. And I should have said, "Hey, Kathy, looks like you had too much to drink or something else." I told my wife that Kathy, by the way, that's not her real name, works a corporate job and she has had training on this and that she knows better. Our son was uncomfortable. He's over 18, but he doesn't know how to deal with an adult, let alone an adult saying that in our house. I told my wife flat out that if I was to invite a guy friend and he was to ask to see our daughter in a bikini, my wife would have called the police. She says it's different. I told her that I was way kinder to Kathy than I would have been had a guy said something like that to our daughter. And I told my wife that Kathy needs to apologize to my son before she can ever be allowed into our house again. Overall, I think I was fair. If Kathy just said it once and I said that I think I would be the asshole, but the fact that she kept repeating it, that's why I said it. And I wanted her to get the message that yes, I am upset. That's why I included the ugly part. Not the jerk. Double standard no more. I wouldn't let her around my boy anymore. I would be livid if a husband's friend was telling my daughter the same kind of things. A better way of handling it would be to say something like, "Kathy, your behavior is crossing a line and needs to stop immediately. If you don't stop, then you will need to leave." A firm statement like that will get the point across just as well without hurting anyone and shows your son how to handle conflict like an adult. Am I the jerk? I called someone a dumbass for taking surf lessons when he can't swim. I teach surf lessons, and we had a new set of people come in. And when we got in the water, he starts freaking out, wailing and screaming and holding onto the board. I asked him what's wrong, and he told me he can't swim. I thought this was some kind of joke, so I said, "Haha, very funny, now paddle." And again he's freaking out and just hanging onto the board, not swimming or anything. That's when I found out he actually can't swim, and he was serious. I drag him to shore and he asks if he can just lay on the board, and I can just bring him over so he can wait for a wave. I was pissed that I was wasting my time on this when I had a class to teach. Listen, jerk. You need to know how to swim to go surfing, just like you need to know how to swim for water polo, scuba diving, and many other activities. If you really can't swim, then go away. I'm done wasting time here. he leaves, and there was a massive argument that I can hear from the beach, where he's yelling at our staff demanding a refund. He later writes really bad reviews about us on Yelp, saying very unprofessional, unwilling to assist me in learning how to surf, which our staff responded back with, "Sir, you didn't know how to swim. That's a prerequisite to surfing, something that should be self-evident." Not the jerk. This man could have gotten himself killed or someone else. It would have been incredibly dangerous to allow him to continue. His suggestions were dumb. It's pretty sad that one wouldn't assume you would need to know how to swim to go out into the ocean. That's how people drown. Not the jerk. You'd also be amazed how many people try to scuba dive when they can't swim. Absolutely astounds me. It's the ocean. Scuba diving is fairly safe, but being able to swim in the huge ocean where anything can happen is kind of basic. The lack of common sense in people and this dude amazes me. That's funny. Wanting to learn how to surf without knowing how to swim first. The basics are important in every activity, even more for an activity that can kill you. Second OP just saved that guy's life. He could have been a bit more patient, like maybe recommending some swimming lessons, but that wasn't really his job. As for first OP, nah. I think he did okay. I mean, it's a little creepy, really, and he was protecting his son. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. See you soon.